today we're over here at Christyboatner's house, and she is going to teach us a recipe, a true German recipe. What are you going to teach us?
Sauerkraut.
Okay.
I'm using German brand sauerkraut, and I want to fix it the way they fix it in Bavaria, and the region is Franken, and I figured that there's so many different recipes floating around in the United States that's supposed to be true German sauerkraut, and I don't agree with it. So I thought, well, I'll put in my version of it.
The Oma right way.
The right way, yes. At least it's the way my mother fixed it. And
Oma is from Germany. She's
Yeah.
from Nuremberg, Germany.
Nuremberg, Germany, which is in Franken, which is a province or a part of Bavaria.
She
And-
came over here, and
Yeah, long time
married,
ago.
Then I married her grandson. Okay, Oma, let's see what ingredients we're going to use.
Okay. First ingredients we would use is sauerkraut, and I recommend to get that in a glass jar, not in a can. And
Okay.
The can tastes like a can. This is called Kühne is the brand, but they have another one which is called Hengsteberg. You can purchase them in some of the bigger grocery stores or big lots, and if you go to the commissary, they have it there.
Okay. All right, what else?
Okay. Then we have an apple about this size, and you peel it and core it, and then you grate it on this service on a box grater, the one with the holes in it. So I'll have one left to do this.
What kind of apple was that?
And you can use a Red Delicious, or you can use just one of those that's yellow and red, whatever looks good to you.
Okay.
But you want it about the size of a baseball at least,
Okay.
you know. And then when it's all grated, it'll look just like this. A whole bunch.
Okay.
All right. And then we have an onion. It's a small onion, no bigger than this. Now don't get one of those great big vidalias because that's too much onion. And I chop it, kind of medium chop it. But I saved it an outer layer of the onion, and I'll tell you in a minute how the reason for that. And then you have to have some kosher salt. Not necessarily that much. This is just to reach to. And bay leaves, I have 2 big ones, or you can have 3 small ones. Just all depends on it. Then I have 1 slice of bacon and butter. And I have juniper berries. They are, you can buy them in the grocery stores, or if you go to a market where they have Fiesta seasonings, you can buy them, you know, but they're called juniper berries.
Okay.
Then we have caraway seeds. Not necessarily that many, I just put them in here so you could see them. And I have peppercorns, whole peppercorns, and I also have peppercorns that just grind into it. And also cloves. They give it a good flavor. You can't just take sauerkraut and take it. You can, and it's good for you to eat it raw like that. But if you make it a side dish, or if you want it better tasting, then you have to go and cook it with the spices. And it takes a while. And I have water to put in there, because the first thing we're going to do is take the kraut and drain it. You don't want to have that you just don't want to have all that extra salt in there, for one thing. But don't wash the kraut. I don't care what other people do. That's a no-no, because then you take all the flavor out with it. You get kind of a blah blah
Okay.
kind of a thing, you know. But you can start out by draining the sauerkraut, kind of fluff it up a little bit, and you can go and let it sit while you're doing your apple and your onion and everything.
Okay, that sounds like an important tip there.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to put this stuff over here. This is the pot that I'm using, and I recommend something that has either, this is enamel. If you don't have it, a stainless steel is fine, but don't use aluminum because the sauerkraut will go react with the aluminum, and it's not going to be a pleasant taste or look.
Okay, another
Yeah.
good tip. Okay.
Yeah. And okay, and we start out with letting the pot get warm just a little bit. Oh, and there's one more ingredient. I forgot. It's in the refrigerator.
Oh goodness, I bet it's an important ingredient.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
I love that pot. She found that pot at
I did
Aldi.
take it out, but I didn't bring it over here. Okay, this is not a ham hock. It's a ham shank,
Okay.
and it smells different than a ham hock, and it is just wonderful. It's better in the sauerkraut than the regular ham hock that you buy. You can get this also if you. I know the commissary has it, or you can go to one of the bigger supermarkets where they have a butcher shop in it, and you can ask for it, or check and see if they have it out there. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But it's a ham shank.
Okay.
Yeah. That puts your flavor in there.
Yes.
I recommend a wooden spoon or a plastic one to stir things, because there again, you want it to be just
She's getting her bacon cooked.
yes, we're just putting it in there, just kind of saute it. You don't want to. Turn that down. This gets hot so quick. Have to really watch it.
And we have an audience here. The two sisters, Nana and Aunt Georgie.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here comes the
Now,
onion with the bacon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bacon is just kind of sauteed.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of do it like that, and then I add a little bit of butter.
Okay.
About this much, no more than that.
About a tablespoon.
Yeah, about a tablespoon, and if you want more in it, you go ahead. You know, it's something. After a while, you just put a little bit of that and a little bit of this in there, and you'll be okay. Let your butter melt and keep on stirring because you don't want it to burn.
Okay.
Bacon having sugar in it, or if it's sugar pure, it's going to go and burn. Then just put in your onions, and then you can turn it up a little bit if you want to until they get glassy.
Okay.
You don't want to brown them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to let her get that done, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. This is to the.
The onions are kind of glassy looking,
Mm-hmm.
not brown, and the bacon kind of left some of its fat out to make new flavor in it. And that's when keep it on a medium heat, but you do have to stir it so nothing will burn. Then you add your grated apple,
Okay.
and you keep stirring it with that. Mix it up with the onions and stir it good. And you can go and turn it, then heat down. And while you're doing that, stir ever so often. You don't want to. Here it comes, and here's some of the spices. Instead of you can just throw in the cloves. They're the whole cloves,
Mm-hmm.
But I use the outside layer of the onion, and I poke these through there. That way you don't have to fish them out later on.
Okay.
And if you want, you also can make a little bundle with cheesecloths and put it in there and pull everything out. But I like it. It kind of gives a little bit of extra speck to it. You know, you see kind of what's in it. But I use anywhere from 6 to 8 cloves in there. And that way, if you know, later on before you serve it, you can pull the whole thing out.
Okay.
And when you get that ready, well, we'll put that in there. But right now, we're still, I'm gonna hurry this up a little bit.
What are you trying to get to? Just warmed, or what are you trying?
No, I'm sauteing it.
Okay.
Where it because you have a juice from the apple that goes
Okay.
in there with it, so you're really not browning anything.
Okay, we just.
Yeah. You just want to stir it and mix the flavors in there and what have not. So, and that's when I go take, this is peppercorns, and I give it some extra twist. Depends on how ferocious your peppercorn mill is. But I add a few extra ones to it, and I put them in here, and there is, there's about 6 peppercorns. And I just throw them in there. I'll have one left over. It gets lonesome, so we'll put that in there. And then here are what's called juniper berries. And you can put them in there. And I have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 7 of them. So I put 4 in there whole. And I'll take this and just a couple of them, I just kind of crush them a little bit. And then put those in there also crushed. And they release the flavor more. You can crush all of them if you want to, but it's okay. And then the caraway seeds. This is a half a teaspoon, but I add them after the crowd. Here are the bay leaves. I got 2 large ones, but if you want 3 small ones, it depends on the size.
Okay.
Put them in there. And then see, this is all the water that drained out of it. You don't want that in your crowd. So I just put all the crowd in there.
Where did you learn how to make this, Oma? Just grew up knowing. Is this the way your family made it?
Yeah, they made it that way, and I just always kept asking my folks, you know, how do you do this and how do you do it? When you first get married, you don't know everything. You think you do, but you don't. Okay, then you take your meat, the ham shank, and put it in the center like this.
Okay.
And then I put the cloves and the onions also in here in the center. And the caraway seeds. Now this is, it depends on it, how much you want in it, how much you don't want in it. This is a half a teaspoon, and I kind of sprinkle it over it. You can come and look and see. There's not a whole lot of it in there. We can add a little bit more, maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, but no more than that. I don't like a whole lot of them in there either, but you want to have some flavor. That it's just goes with it.
Okay.
And so this is plenty, so I have some left in there. Then this is kosher salt, and I take a pinch and kind of go around it on the crowd. And then I pour in, this is 2 cups. but you may need more.
Okay.
Depends on what kind of, you don't want to put too much in it because you're not making soup.
Okay.
So, if you want to come and look, this is
Just barely covering it.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. And this will cook down because you want this to cook off and cook down. You can add just a tad more because some of the water will evaporate. Maybe another half a cup or quarter cup. Just a little bit to give it like that. Throw him in there. And now the sugar. I know some of the recipes say to put in a half a cup or whatever. Don't. Just do your pinch. And I put 1 pinch in there, and then I will add some later on once this gets to boiling and to simmer for. Excuse me, to simmer for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, because the sugar takes away the tartness of the saltiness that is in the kraut itself. And then you just put your lid on it, bring it to a boil, and then turn it down and simmer it for at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Okay.
On very low, just simmer it. Because you want that meat in there to cook. Because you can take that off later on and chop it up and put it back into the sauerkraut, and then you start tasting it off with either more sugar or more salt, whatever you need. You know, it goes by taste.
Okay. Well, we'll get it to a boil and then we'll be back.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, about 20 minutes into the process of boiling it and simmering it, you can see that the meat is now away from the bone. You still have plenty. You need to check every once in a while, and then you just, take a fork and kind of stir it up just a little bit, and then take the meat and turn it around the other way.
Okay.
And if you can look, see, it's pulling away from the bone. But you want to cook it a little while longer. And you can taste the juice and see if it needs more salt or if you want to put some more sugar in it and so forth. So, and here's your onion still with the cloves in it. Let me push that back in there. So kind of leave it on the surface where it's kind of covered. You have some caraway seed in it, but not a whole lot. So 3/4 of a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on your own taste. You can put as much in it as you like, but I would recommend about 3/4 teaspoon on there.
Okay.
And but when it is done and you start eating it, don't eat the juniper berries. Sometimes they tend to be a little spicy. And peppercorns, they speak for themselves. That's why I use the pepper grinder. That way, I think the pepper gets a better flavor exposure in there. And
so you're just going to put your lid back on, and we're just going to let
yes,
it
and
keep
I'll
on
check,
simmering.
make sure, and I've got it on a very low. I got it out of out of 9.
Electric.
I got it down to a 2. Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, let it keep on
Yeah,
simmering.
and if it bubbles a little bit on top, you can either turn it down more, or you kind of pop the lid a little bit and leave it sitting there like that. And we'll let it go on for a while longer. Okay.
So how long has it been cooking?
It's been cooking for about 40 minutes or so. And I'm taking out the ham hock. Because as you can see, it's all falling apart. And I need for it to cool off so I can cut it up and then put the meat back in it. In the meantime, I tasted it and it needs more salt.
Okay.
And let it boil a little bit more. And you see there's still, I still have our cloves and the onion and I just stir it a little bit, and the water has cooked down quite a bit, simmered it down, so I added a little bit more water. And we're gonna go cover it back up and cook it for another 15 minutes, and then we're done with it. By that time, this will cool off, and I'll cut it up and put it into sauerkraut. It adds extra flavor. Also, when I was at home in Germany, my aunt added an extra thing to it. She got another half of a small onion and chopped it up and put it in the skillet and let it just get little like golden brown. And then she would take it with a spoon, dip it out, and put it over the kraut before it was served. And that gave it an extra good flavor.
And probably looked pretty too.
Well, it wasn't a whole lot. It just
Yeah.
added enough flavor with it. And but that's the way she served it. But that's optional.
Okay.
And I like it both ways.
I'll go and
I'm just going to cut this up
cut that
so
up.
I can add it to the sauerkraut into little bitty pieces.
Okay, she got it all cut up and
Yeah, we went and skinned the bone and got it all cut up in small little pieces, and we're adding it to the sauerkraut.
and it's almost taste test time.
Yeah, and kind of stir it in there. That enhances the flavor. And we leave the cloves in there for a while longer. So we're going to do this for 15 more minutes, and then we're done. Okay, we're back. And I'm going to remove that onion with the cloves in it, because we don't need it in it. And then I'm looking for the bay leaves. And we get those out too, because you can't eat them. And we have chopped the meat up in there, and you'll see it. And there's very little water in it. You don't want a whole lot of water in it. You don't want it to burn, but you don't want a whole lot of water in it either. So I'm going to go taste it and see if I need any more salt and or sugar in it. Well, pretty good. I like the way it tastes. Just enough for like 2 fingers.
A little bit more salt.
A
Okay.
little bit more salt. And just a smidgen of sugar. Enough to hold in between 2 fingers. And stir it. And turn the thing off. And so I'll let everybody go taste it and see.
All right, let's taste it.
Okay.
We get to taste. Here's my clean fork. It's right out of the pot. It's always good.
Yeah, I know it's hot though. It's wunderbar.
It's wunderbar.
Wunderbar. Das ist gut.
That is good, Oma.
Good. Good. I'm glad you like it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Awesome.
Good. It's
Awesome.
very good.
Just like
So
my
you
mama
want to
made
tell
it.
them how?
Yeah, okay. I'll tell you how to serve it or what to serve it with. If you really wanted to put it on a hot dog, get a slotted spoon or a fork. You don't want to get that juice on there because it's going to make your bread soggy. In Germany, they usually serve it with a number of things, side dishes. You can go make a noodle dish called Spätzle, and then you can have it with schnitzel.
Yes.
pork schnitzel or veal schnitzel. You can have it with roast.
Yes.
It's just a side dish, just
Rouladen.
like and rouladen. And
And Oma's going to teach us how to make some of these things.
yeah, in the future I will go show you how to make spätzle,
Not spatial. That's
spe-
like
schnitzel,
Schnitzel's
and
wonderful.
some other
Potato
dishes
salad.
that I can
yes,
remember.
potato salad.
And
I'm over
potato
here
salad,
saying
yeah.
potato salad.
Potato salad there is so many different recipes of potato salad out there. So
Oma's is the best.
I'm gonna go and throw out mine, and it's very simple. From the region that I come from in Franken, and that's how they make it there. And I'm sure other people that came from other places in Germany fix it different, but basically it's about the same. And so well, when we get to that point, well, we'll show
We're
you
going to
how
try to
we
do
make
that
it.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can serve your sauerkraut with sausage.
Mhm.
If you want, you can get a knackwurst. Don't know if you can find it in the supermarkets, but my go-to is always the Eckrich smoked sausage. And I cut it up in pieces about this big. And you can either heat it up on top of the sauerkraut, put the lid on it, let it warm up,
Boar's Head has a good wurst for that.
or you can go and put it in the skillet and on low heat it up and fry it, and then eat it with mustard. And then you can add you can also make German roast potatoes. The way we did it, we boiled the potatoes in a jacket, then peeled them while they were hot and done. And then when we let them cool down, because they fry better, then we slice them or put them in chunks about this big, and then put them in the skillet and with a little bit of onion and salt and pepper, and you can add little bacon fat if you have it, but if you don't want to go that far, well then just plain old butter or oil. I use olive oil and butter.
Yes.
And together, because it fries better, and it's wonderful
Butter
with it.
won't burn.
So sauerkraut, sausage, and potatoes, and some crusty bread, and you're fixed
Fit for
for the day.
king.
Yes.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video. Share this video. And y'all give Oma applause. She'll be back for more Oma recipes. Cooking with Oma.
Thank you. Dankeschön.
Bye.
Bye bye.